What's up, everybody? This is Henry Fleischer here from the Cannabis Dispatch, also the CBD Business Networking Group, and I have a very special guest today. I have Andrew Vergar of SpaceCity Wellness. So, Andrew, tell us a little bit about SpaceCity Wellness.
Well, thanks, Henry, for the introduction. Yeah, SpaceCity Wellness is a consumable hemp manufacturer in Houston, Texas, and we make primarily edibles. And we specialize in chocolates and confections as of right now.
Oh, awesome. Is it so you just a lot? You guys just do edibles at the moment?
We are building other brands. At our initial launch, we have SpaceCity Wellness, and our chocolates, our more specialized chocolates, are called atomic chocolates. And those will be a little bit more elaborate. What we are shooting for as far as a brand in general is aesthetically pleasing products that have CBD and CBG infused into them, and what you would find in boutique chocolate shops delivered to you or found at your local shop that you frequent.
Oh, cool. What was it that made you want to go into the CBD business, and specifically the chocolate brands?
My background in general is restaurant industry. I've been in the restaurant business for 30 years, and that was up until COVID. I've always had a history with making enjoyable treats. When I lived in Oregon, I worked as a caregiver out in that business, and I had a bunch of clients that enjoyed what I had to offer. And then moving back to Texas after my stint in Oregon, it was an underserved market here, and what we do offer is quite Texas centric. Our chocolate is made from bean to chocolate couverture here in the state, and then we in turn infuse it locally in the city of Houston and distribute it nationally.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sounds pretty incredible. And what would you say has been so you mentioned too that you're about to launch as well too. So what do you think the biggest challenge has been in getting everything rolling for pre-launch?
Oh, biggest thing is, the banking industry and what we're dealing with right now. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. And, I'm sure you know that there's the House bill for the SAFE Act that's going in front of the House today, which would open up the banking industry a little bit more for our kind of clientele, CBD and cannabis in general, which is greatly needed. We pay exorbitant amounts for a processing fee per transaction as well. So, making it a little safer for the business to operate and to start up, that's the biggest hurdle I've seen so far. The logistics as far as staying compliant within your state constraints is a little bit to work within, and getting the license in general. But biggest hurdle, in my opinion, has definitely been the banking and credit card processing on my end.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think you're not the only one who has that issue too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully sooner it gets solved. And if a customer was to choose between your business and 3 others like you, why would you suggest they give you a try first?
Sure. As you know, when it comes to edibles and particularly CBDs, this is giving me a rough estimate. I would say 60% of it is gummy. You do have chocolate items there, but it's few and far between. And then a majority of those offerings are a little bit more lab-esque. They are very sterile. What I'm trying to do is give that culinary aesthetic that makes it pleasing to the eye, while in turn still offering a quality product that is going to facilitate the kind of help that you need and the reason why you're taking it in the first place. So we're trying to make it enjoyable on all fronts, because you eat with your eyes as well as your mouth and your stomach.
Oh, yeah, I got you. What plans do you have in place to acquire customers? Like, going to be the number one way?
We are delving heavily into social media marketings as that front is concerned. We are developing within the state right now distribution points in all the major metroplexes in Texas, as well as developing a little bit more of a national chain as well. We're focusing right now primarily in Texas, but realistically getting into your CBD stores in the state is our main goal for right now.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay, so you want to be in, just get the channels within Texas.
Well, initially we're that's our primary focus because everything by 2022, everything will be from the state of Texas, grown in the state, as well as made in the state. I have a large extended family out in West Texas, and we hold a little over 5,000 acres. So we are going to be dedicating probably a little over 300 acres once there's a demand for it. And that's our main goal right now, is building the demand for it.
Oh, wow. I mean, that should be coming soon as well, too. I think Texas is about to legalize for medical.
There's definitely some bills in the state's House and Senate that are opening it up. The biggest thing right now that they're doing is I think they're scrutinizing a little bit heavily or on the Delta 8 side of it, but also Texas has a limited medicinal program, and that's one of the areas that they are also opening it up to, other than a smaller finite group of ailments.
Oh, I got you. So yeah, if you were to take a look, like 6 months to a year down the line, where would you like to be with Space City Wellness?
Well, in the 6 months time frame, beyond what we already will have to offer, which is our hot cocoa and our chocolates, we'll be elaborating more on our atomics, where you'll have bonbons. These are going to be airbrushed, so these will be looking very, very nicely done. But beyond that, we have breakfast items, more natural items coming out as well. We have a line of hard candies that will be coming out, and some really interesting, more food-based stocks that we are really focusing on. We're shooting for a market that's not very well set up at the moment. One of my personal favorites that I'm working on is called Mug Buddies, and this basically a mix that you put into your own microwavable safe coffee cup, add a small amount of water and microwave it for 90 seconds, and then you have your own brownie or cupcake in a cup ready for you to go.
Oh, wow. I know it's like because you were in the culinary experience a lot before. So, what's one food you would like to see infused with CBD that we haven't really seen?
Yeah, well, and that's I love the idea, and I've personally done curated meals with cannabis before in Oregon, and my biggest thing is dosage. People are not understanding that. So all of the major food items that we're going to be doing are single servings, so they're a little bit more smaller in proportions. But I am a huge fan of ice cream, and that's another thing we're doing is an ice cream. And I would say at that year mark, you'll see single serving ice creams from us. And keep an eye out, because if you hear a name called Slow Flow, that's us.
Oh, ice cream. That sounds really interesting.
We not to be too self-serving, but we would like to hold the moniker of the Ben and Jerry's of the CBD world, if you will.
Yeah,
that's big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill.
I know you're in Texas too. What about like CBD infused barbecue?
Is that well? There are a few people out there that have done. I think there's some folks out in San Antonio that are doing infused sandwich dressings and such. Like aiolis. I would say I'm all up for it. The only problem is you're talking about high heat levels, which might degrade some of those qualities.
Oh, so that's something good to know too. Like that the heat can kill off some of the nutrients.
Yeah. Anything and again, anything over 120, you're starting to take away some of those minor cannabinoids and terpenes. So you start changing the profile of it.
So maybe it sounds like more of like a finishing dressing as opposed to not like an oil you cook with.
Right. That being said, some of my favorite things that I've been dabbling in just R&D wise, honey. Taking local honeys and infusing them and then putting that on biscuit. That's one of my favorite meats.
Oh, I've seen there are other honey products out there. I know that. So like I see syrup too, maybe being another one. Like maybe jelly.
The viscosity of those things help with the suspension as well. So it's an interesting platform.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna have like peanut butters infused with like CBD as well too.
Well, that's mentioning it. It's the process of taking roasted cocoa beans. One of the main machines they use to turn that into a chocolate paste is a same machine that they would take and make peanut butter out of. It's a nut grinder, just at a much longer time frame.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't even know. That's interesting to know the whole process there. Oh.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping that at that same time frame of next year, 2022, that we will be working. I've been doing my last couple weeks and getting a lockdown on a 100% indigenous Guatemalan, 100% female-owned cocoa bean, and getting those shipped here. And then within that time frame, us actually having the facility and laboratory to make it 100% at our facility.
Oh wow. I was thinking too, even like coffee could be CBD infused coffee as well too.
Oh yeah, CBD coffees. When it comes to the food industry in general, there's so many outlets that haven't been even looked at. Coffees, you're starting to see a few folks in it. I'm not 100% certain on the technology, but I would think a lot of that has probably been used with an emulsifier, like an emulsion, and you're usually sprayed on instead of on the internal side of it. But yeah, that's all things that you can do.
Yeah.
Sugars, butters, and baking in general ingredients.
Oh yeah, I think there's going to be a market of people too who might not always want to have the sweet stuff, so that's why it's good for like the butters and other savory items in there too.
Yeah.
Maybe what about potato chips also, or just snack foods?
Oh, I would love that kind of moniker. As a kid growing up, I'll tell you, Willy Wonka was my favorite movie and still's very near and dear to my heart now.
Well, you're becoming the Willy Wonka of CBD.
If that sticks, we'll let that stick to the wall for sure. Because I would love to have that moniker.
You're gonna have Oompa Loompas too, making the chocolate.
There might be some issues with immigration on that one, because I think they did not come from a country that was friendly for that kind of visitation. That we don't want to get any kind of vicious knits coming after us.
Oh yeah. So I think before like our conversation too, you mentioned too, like, so it's tomorrow is the launch then. Yeah. What time?
So the launch will be at 4:20 p.m. on 4/20. So we're trying to keep it as cheeky and fun as possible to stay along with the holiday.
So 4:20 Central Time, Eastern Time?
Oh, my apologies. Yes, that will be Central Time since we are in Texas and Houston in particular. So we'll be sticking to the Central Time frame.
Okay, good. So that's good to know. So I know we've been discussing a lot as well too. So like in the future, like what role do you want to have with your business as well too? You want to be like overseeing everything? You still want to be involved in R&D? Where do you see yourself ideally?
Well, R&D has always been near and dear to my heart because it's working in kitchens and restaurants and tinkering around has always been my passion. But one of the other things that we do is we're building a nonprofit for the state, and that's going to be called SpaceCity Feeds. and a portion of every single piece of chocolate or confection that we make goes to our 501c3 nonprofit or other local entities in the city. And our main goal is to formally help low-income families on food stability. So the Space City Feeds itself is basically we're finding local farmers and buying up their prospective crops for the season, pre-season. So we're helping out the farmer um, make it through the growing season. And then we buy it at a rate that's reasonable and fair for us. And then we in turn make weekly food boxes during season, and then we drop these off personally to in-need families, just to make sure they get the great produce that they need to kind of grow. That was one of my biggest things was, I want to give back. We will do everything we can to help the community around us because, we're only as good as our weakest comrade next to us.
Oh, of course. That's great. That's definitely great to know. And how would you say the restaurant, how was your experience in the restaurant industry prepare you for this role you have upcoming?
Well, one of my biggest things I've got, and I'm kind of dating myself, but next couple of years will be 30 years in the business for me. And I've done almost every job with the exception of leadership roles and large kitchens and stuff. I was a commercial baker for a while, which was fun. But a lot of my time was spent out in front. So I love talking to people. And that's what kind of really kept me in the business for so long, because as a service-based industry, there's a tactile feel that you get with helping guests and that kind of satisfaction. And that's what kind of kept me as long as it did it, because it can be a thankless job and it's a tough job. And I get an opportunity to work in an industry making chocolates. Man, I'm happy. I got no other way of saying it, but the restaurant business has a little bit more of a business acumen that I really feel like helped me out. I've never was the greatest in math skills and such, and that you put a dollar sign in front of it and you put it in a restaurant situation reading P&Ls. I did that for many years, and that really helps with business structure, because in the restaurant business, pennies matter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got you. Any advice you'd give to somebody starting in like a CBD restaurant type brand, or just any CBD food brand?
Well, biggest thing is make sure you're compliant down to the city level, because you'll have multiple municipal entities that you'll need to be in contact and be licensed. So beyond me being a manufacturer, I have to hold a commercial kitchens license, and I also have to be a food service manager as well. So biggest thing is staying ahead of compliance and doing your research. And there's lots of folks in the restaurant business that would do fantastic in this industry.
Oh yeah, I could see that too. Because like another thing too with like I think with the restaurant industry too, I think there's going to be a rise in like restaurants specializing in cooking with CBD products as well too.
Yeah, there was a time when we were in Oregon. I always wanted to open up a restaurant out there. We lived in Portland area, and I always wanted to call a restaurant Shades of Green. But yeah, it's it's been a long going passion of mine. Agriculture in general. I had an opportunity here in the late 2000s to open up the first LEED certified restaurant in the city, and I was also their head gardener. And I planted their full garden as well as all of their fruit-bearing trees, shrubbery, and brush. So it's always something I've really enjoyed, and just getting out there and messing with soil.
Oh, cool. So yeah, what's the best way for somebody to contact you as well too?
Sure, like reaching out as far as questions, comments. Best way is Andrew at spacecitywellness.com. Yeah, feel free to shoot me a message or reach out. We are always looking for wholesale opportunities and increasing our distribution points. So always interested in meeting new people in the business. I always will say that two brains are better than one, and three brains are better than two. So more the merrier.
Oh yeah, of course. It was definitely great to speak with you, and have a happy 420.
Will do. Thank you so much, Henry. I appreciate you
No
letting me be
problem.
on the show.
Yeah, you're open anytime.
Awesome. Thank you.